could be a fantasy. I can tell you got beat energy.
This is Power 95, where music lives. Ladies Room comes to you compliments of Renwick and Thompson Limited, agents for Western Union, and Beacon Insurance.
Isn't it great when your experience pays off? Finally, drivers 50 years and over can enjoy the benefits of their years of driving experience. With Beacon's 50 Plus plan, you can expect a hassle-free sign-up, affordable payment options, and free windscreen cover with your car insurance. Call us at 440-4447 or log on to beacon.co.tt and get driving today.
2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6.
Education multiplies their chances and places the world of opportunity in their hands. No matter where they are in the world, make sure they are prepared for their journey back to school with Western Union. School fees, books, room and board, whatever the reason. Knowledge, independence, opportunity. Western Union, moving money for better.
And we are back inside the ladies' room on this. You turn it up. We are back inside the ladies' room on this Monday, February 21. Good morning, everybody. I trust we had a good weekend. Not sure what you were up to, but whatever it was, I hope it was a good one. Good morning, Marianne. Good morning, Christelle. I just want to give you guys the opportunity to come into the room. I'll just give you a couple of seconds. And also invite you to share the live, because today's topic, it's going to be one that I'd really love for you to be a part of. Yeah? Love to have more men in the audience, and of course the women, because you too have a part to play in this. And once again, I just want to say how happy I am that we're seeing so many men stepping forward now to talk, to discuss the things that are affecting them. Usually we'll have more women speaking up on things, whether it's in relationship or whatever situation. They'll be the ones talking. And women tend to have, tighter groups, whether it's mother and family or friends, that people you can vent to. But men, even though they do have a couple, the whole ego and the whole macho thingy, you don't want anyone to know you're going through that or the other. So you go drink your life away with the boys, pretending that you're okay when you're not. And you try to drink your problems away. So sometimes when you see people drinking, it's not just they want to, but a lot of people drinking is like a coping mechanism. They get numb. They forget everything that's bothering them when you're intoxicated. So the minute you get sober again and you start thinking about everything that you have to deal with, you drink again to cover up that. So sometimes it can be a coping mechanism, sometimes socially, whatever. Sometimes you just like to do it. But there are a lot of reasons why people do what they do. And it's important that we take the time to listen to them. And in passing on Friday, my guest was just, usually comes chill with us, was passing through. And, we were talking about it, and I'm like, you know what? I think you'll do well to come on the show to express yourself, because you did put it out there publicly. You did put it out there on social media. So I think the best thing to do is let's talk about it, and see where you're at this point in time and how we can help you going further. And also raise awareness to the fact that there are other men going through the same thing that my guest is going through. So let me just put him up on the screen. He has been using so many handles lately. I'm not even sure how to introduce him. We call him Juice every time we're in soca when it's carnival mode. Then I heard he's Ricardo HD Xavier. That is, listen, what are we working with today?
So let me tell you, Ricardo is actually my...
I'm not hearing you. Come closer to the mic.
Yeah. So Ricardo is actually my second name, and Xavier is my father's surname. So I only recently got to know my father a couple of years ago. So I decided.
So you never had like a boy growing up into man relationship?
No.
Okay.
No. So I decided, to pay a lot of homage, to him like that. to put Xavier on Facebook, just to connect with my family, right? But in the artist world, I have been one of the artists who been trying to find myself, so that's why over the years, just to be honest, just Saturday I was sitting home going to the music on YouTube and finding some of the songs and laughing at some of the names that I had, and I was like, yo boy, it was really out there just trying to find yourself, you know what I mean? So I changed my name about 5 times, but I'm Juice. A lot of people just call me Juice the Voice. So I think it have a ring. So that's my handle on Instagram. And
Because the thing about it is, doesn't matter what name you change. When people know you a particular way, like for example, when Puff Daddy changed numerous times, it took a while for people to get to the PDD. Everybody was still Puff. Because that's what we're accustomed to. Good morning. Let me just say good morning to the folks logged on. Guys, please share the live today. If I've never begged you before, I want you to share it today. All right, because it's a topic that I really want us to get up close with. I want us to understand and so we can recognize the signs in our brothers and sisters and husbands and boyfriends and what have you. So please share the live. All right. Good morning, Joseph Andrews. Happy to see a couple men here already. Good morning, Matthew, Deslin, Michaela. Good morning, Debbie, Christelle, Marianne. Good morning, Fatima. Good morning, Tamasha. Marlene is here. Leno is here. Anastasia is here. Asia, good morning. Good morning, everybody. So come on into the room and share the live. Well, time certainly flies, so we're not going to stick. We're getting into it. All right. Good morning, Kizzy. So a couple of days ago, you made a post on social media. All right. So you share with us what that post was about.
So for me, there are times in the year when I just feel totally drained, emotionally, and mentally, and that really weighs on me. Because
are you guys hearing him clearly, or is he too low? Give me a thumbs up if he's good.
Yeah. So there are times in the year when I just feel very emotionally and physically, mentally drained. And I feel like, there's something missing, and I never knew how to explain it. And the feeling becomes very, for use of a better word, depressing. You know what I mean? Just put you in a mental state where you don't really feel like going out. You don't want to socialize. You're just home. It's like nothing works, you know what I mean? So at that point in time, it was just frustrating to me. And sitting holding my phone, and I just decide, just let me speak about it, put it out there. You never know who's might be going through something like that. And just to make people know that, you're not alone, because to me, I'm a man, and I don't think that I am the only man that goes through something like that. And it was overwhelming, the amount of people that reached out to me in private, and started speaking to me and telling me that, man, I'm going through the same thing, So I realized that, like, us men, we really feel neglected sometimes, and feel like there's nowhere else to turn, nobody to turn to. So because sometimes you're home and the people that you're home with, you don't really feel like you can talk to them,
I'm trying to get the I was trying to get your exact wording for the post to put some context.
Okay.
To it. Can you remember offhand what you wrote?
So I was saying that I'm not afraid to say that I am not happy, and haven't been happy for a long time. Sometimes I feel.
Oh, there you got it. Okay, it says no. Like I'm afraid to say I'm not happy. I haven't been happy in a long time, and behaving like I have it all together makes me more unhappy, really. And sometimes I feel like I'm having a mental breakdown. Is this me looking for attention or crying out for help? No, it's just me living in my truth.
Yeah.
Those were your words.
Yeah. And it's just that, it's just that.
How often do you feel that way? And would you say there are things that triggers those sort of feelings, or is it something that just comes on? Because a couple of years ago, I wrote on depression, and it wasn't something I thought I had, but after doing research and speaking to professionals and stuff like that, I realized that's what it was. And a lot of the times, what you'll hear from people is, one, what you have to be depressed about. Two, you're always dressed up. Three, you have a job. And it's and I think that was the point when I stopped trying to explain it, because it's like, unless you've experienced it, it's hard to explain, because some people seem to think you just sit there and you start feeling sorry for yourself for no reason. It is like almost like you're standing and somebody covers you with a sheet.
Yeah.
That's just covers you. Just feel this
Yeah.
emotion covering you. And you're there crawling and just trying to get it off of you, and you can't, no matter how hard you try to take it off. It's just blanketing you.
So,
And sometimes it's not even anything. You could be, and I've had it happen to me so many times and I can count. You're in a room filled with people, everybody's laughing, and you be laughing with them, and the next minute you're just
zone
like,
out. Yeah.
and they be, what's going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah. And so I was actually speaking to somebody who reached out to me, and just like speaking to him makes me realize that it's a good thing to actually sit and speak to somebody professional, somebody who could actually give you shed some light on things that you might be going through. You know what I mean? So what happened? So while I was speaking to him, he was telling me that he was diagnosed with a disorder, so bipolar disorder, right? And him speaking to me, it really opened my mind to things that has been going on with me,
Sometimes you have to go way, way back. It's
Yeah.
not current issues.
and
Even as
and-
far as your childhood.
so he explained to me that people who normally suffer with like high levels of depression and stuff, sometimes that comes from two things: a childhood trauma, and it can be hereditary, right? There are some people who has a mental a history of mental illness in their family, right? And they might be feeling down all the time and don't really understand why. But then the childhood traumas, to me, are the ones that are really prevalent in this society. Let me tell you, for me, I have been dealing with, not knowing my father.
I was about to ask you how much does that have to play
Yeah.
in how you are at this point in time? Since that you mentioned you got to know him not so long ago.
So just
how did his absence have an effect on your life?
just a little history. I am 36 this year. I'll be 36 this year, and my father is incarcerated for the same amount of years.
Oh wow!
Right. So I was born in Trinidad and I moved here. So I always grew up. I grew up always hearing children in my school speaking about times they have with their father, and So to me, it was like, I used to always ask myself, what is a father? You know what I mean? Because I don't know that. All I know is a mother. That's what I had, and my brothers and my sisters. So to ask myself, what is a father like? So one day I asked my mom, what is a father? And she couldn't, at the time it was too much for her, and I always felt like the least important one among my siblings and amongst my friends, even though they might have bad relationships with their father. I used to tell my friends in school, especially when I was in GBSS, I used to say, yo, you guys actually have a father. There are some of us outside here who don't know what it is to have a father. And that's when I really, those were the times I understood what was a father. I was a teenager now, and I hearing people saying, oh, my father, I don't want to talk to my father, and this and that. And I was like, yo, you guys have a father. There are some of us outside here who don't know what it is to have a father. You know what I mean? So at a young age, I took a tattoo, the missing pieces, and it was a promise to my son or my daughter that I would be there for them as a father. So at a young age, I made up my mind that whatever my father did or whatever road my father walked, I will really try to walk a different road. You know? So
Profound.
coming up as a youth man, boy, the longing to be guided, the longing to be loved by a male, you know, it
Just gonna make us cry this
it
morning.
really like got to me. You know, sometimes on Father's Day, there was one time on Father's Day, I post my mom and I say Happy Father's Day, and somebody cussed me out. You know, like on social media, people are so quick to judge and to place opinions and stuff and don't know where people are coming from. You know, because my mom has been my father. She has been there for as long as I could remember. So now I'm getting to know my father, and I cannot call him dad. I just don't have that
connection
to say dad, you know? So like when we speak, I would say, yeah, boss man, or yeah, big man, or something, and he's reaching out, but I just cannot find that fortitude or that resolve or whatever you might call it to say dad, you know? So right now, those kind of traumas, it really get to me, you know, like, and that really affects the relationship with me and my son, you know, not knowing how a man is supposed to extend that love to his son or his daughter, you know what I mean? So that a lot of guys going through that. The best result is anger, you know, because you don't know what it is. You know, your mom could only go so far as to teach you what she thinks a man should be, but what you really need as a child is a father's love also. You know, because you're here. There's supposed to be a man to teach you what it is to be a man. So for men like me who never really got that, sometimes it's very hard.
That's expected. You never experienced it, you know?
Yeah.
You've never had anybody, you've never had a father to show you the ropes, you know, to kick a ball, you know, to speak to you as you get going into manhood. You never had that. And as much as you would have posted your mom on, you know, Father's Day, I always say, you know what? A woman can't teach a man how to be a man.
True.
You know, you can teach your daughters how to be women and ladies, but how do you teach a man how to be a man?
And it's so much like bigger than what we really think. Because that's why the family circle is so important. And I always tell fellas, listen, even if you and your child mother is not together, be a father to your children. Be present in their life. You know, try. Yeah, we know that, okay, not every situation is ideal. There are some people who really try their best to tarnish the reputation between whether it be child and mother or child and father, you know? We have that. But at the end of the day, we have to remember it's not about us as adults. It's about the impact on our children. You know what I mean? Because a father is supposed to show his daughter the way a man is supposed to love a woman. So she will understand that. So when she goes outside there, she has no doubt in her mind
as to what she really wants.
You know what I mean? And then for a young man, he's supposed to show his son the way to love a woman and the way to treat and respect a woman. You know what I mean? And so does the mother. You know what I mean? She's supposed to do that. She's supposed to show the man what kind of woman or how a woman's supposed to treat a man. Because for me, my pinnacle is my mother's love. You know? And the way my mother nurtured us growing up, that's what I look for in a woman. You know? So we realize
What are
that.
some of the things that you look for, that you learned from your mother?
So my mom is a very caring person, and she always put her children first. You know what I mean? My mom was never the kind of person like I'm my mother's last biological child, and I have never known a man in my family space as a stepdad. Until I became a big man working.
Mhm.
So she kept that, even though she had her relations. We all humans,
Mhm.
but she never brought that kind of thing
Into your
among
home.
her children.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So even if she had a relationship with somebody, there was never a man who was walking around in the house in his boxers and coming and tell us what to do. Like I can't remember that. I can't speak for my older siblings, but for me, I can't remember that. So my mom teach me how to use knife and fork. You know what I mean? She teach us how to set tables. I remember as a youth man, when 6 o'clock, my mom will take off the TV. After we bathe, she sit and she asks us how was our day, and we sit and we have a family conversation on regular. You know, she we have devotion.
Mhm.
It was a point of duty for all of us to sit and watch the news. In school, people always used to say, Juice, you always feel but my mom made sure that we had the information. You know what I mean?
So despite the absence of your dad, she still tried her best.
She tried her
Yes,
best.
but there was still that void because, like you said, over the years, going to school, interacting with your peers, and hearing them talking about a father,
Yeah.
and you've never had that experience.
Yep.
You can't speak on it. You've never had that relationship with him being incarcerated and stuff like that. Um, Someone here is saying, in terms of forgiveness, is that something you've done where your father is concerned, or is it something you're working on?
To be honest, I really and truly have, and I told him that. I say, boss, I don't really have no resentment towards you, honestly.
Mhm.
Because I really understand that life can be different for everybody.
Mhm.
For me, what I'm trying to get him to understand is that, listen, this is our past. You went through this, yeah. But even though you're in that situation, still, we need to move forward. You know what I mean? And so me, like, talking to him all the time, sometimes it gets really emotionally draining because he's trying to make me understand, he's sorry and this and that. And I can't really take on that. Okay, we passed that stage.
Mhm.
I'm an adult now. So let's pass that stage. Don't call me a little baby.
Mhm.
Them kind of vibes there. So I'm a big man. Let's move past that. So really and truly, I don't really have any hard feelings towards him. So what I am dealing with now is trying to build my life.
So I want to go back to someone mentioned it earlier on, but I missed it. I want to go back to the part where you feel this sense of hopelessness and depression and all of that. And again, I want to say hats off to you, and I really want to big you up for putting it out there, because like I said, it's not something much men do. Men tend to bottle things up, and then next minute you hear, oh, this person took their life, or that person
Yeah.
took their life, because men tend to keep things in. Women are the more vocals about their feelings, and would share with their friends or their sisters, or they have somebody they can speak to. Men sort of, because of the whole ego thing, and you're supposed to be a big man and not show feelings and all of that, tend to bottle things up and keep it inside. So I really have to applaud you for taking that step to put it out there, because I'm sure there are lots of other men feeling the same way and not afraid to make that first step. But it's a way to get help. You have to make that first step.
Yeah.
Acknowledging that you have a problem is the first step to getting help for that problem. And I wanted to find out, in terms of when you feel that way, are there certain things that triggers you? Are there certain things that, or is it you just feel that vibe come on, or is it something that you can pinpoint as
Yes,
to why you feel that
because
way?
listen, for me, the absence of my father has put me in a very vulnerable position where even though my mother was trying her best, she had the task of providing for everybody. So she had to be working all the time. You know what I mean? I always tell my big sister, she's my second mom. Because even though my mom couldn't be there all the time, my sister,
stepped in.
she tried to fill the void. You know what I mean? And growing up in school, I started to believe a lot of the negative things that people would tell me.
Like what?
So there was one time in school, one of my school teachers, she told me, I hope I hope I live to see the day that you regret, and because I am a person who normally stands up for myself, because I always feel cornered. So I always have this defense mechanism up, sorry. So I always feel like the person who is cornered, you know what I mean? So something happened in school and I was trying to tell her, Miss, listen, I am no fault of this. You know what I mean? I saw it, but I wasn't the person who was doing it, so I don't see why I have to apologize just for seeing it. And she told me she washed her hands on me, to the fact that I will never make it in life. I was even expelled from school. You know what I mean? I remember growing up as a little boy, my brothers and them used to tell me, boy, you're dunce, and always I was like the punching bag, you know what I mean? So I grew up always having to defend myself. And so right now, as a creative person, trying to find myself and trying and doing so many things, like I registered 5 businesses, they all failed, right? Having no guidance, nobody to guide me at a young age, so I will know how it is to walk on my own. So now when I'm trying and things fail, I always go back in that space, because it's very comfortable, it's very convenient. It's like there's no stimulation. So that's what happens. Everybody's life is different. Everybody copes differently.
We all have different coping mechanisms.
As you said, some people say, well, Arona, let's dress up nice all the time. That could be one of your coping mechanisms. Just making yourself look nice all the time. But when you reach home, you're a mess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally been there. Been there.
I know myself for the longest time, like from school coming up, I have always been the person to give the clear-headed advice. People always call me.
Sometimes they say who gives the best advice needs the most advice themselves. You could give the best, but when it comes to your own life, you're like, you don't even know where to start to deal with your life, to unpack the layers. That's why I said earlier this morning, even the motivated need motivating. Because you give the best advice, you motivate everybody, and you keep taking out of your cup and pouring into other people. But when you look around, your cup is empty. So this is a point that we have to get at some point. While it's okay to pour into other people's cups, we have to ensure that our cups are filled as well, that we're pouring back, because you're going to end up depleted. You're going to end up feeling empty.
And that has affected my personal life, like relationship wise.
You mentioned something to me about you're always angry. There's anger part of it that comes in.
Yeah, I don't know, for some reason, like my anger is always amplified, you know what I mean? And just for
what triggers the anger though?
The simplest things. To me, it's like I deal with like nobody understands me. I always have to say the most to get my point across, because maybe I see things in a different way, in a deeper spectrum than the regular person might see it. It seems like if I'm always overreacting, and that gets to me. You know what I mean? So I guess that comes with the territory, the way we think, because we always internalize and always in our heads Sometimes we need to get out of our head, relax, just chill for a moment. So that's why I spend a lot of time alone.
I have someone here who says the name is Robert Phillip. He says, Master Prophet, as your former teacher of the GBSS, you could have chatted with me on this issue. I am a psychotherapist and I could help. We always had a good relationship. You always had my support. Why did you not share this with me? So you have someone here you could definitely share with.
Listen, Mr.
So-
Philip, sorry to cut you, but Mr. Philip has been one of my favorite persons in school. I remember when I got expelled from school, and when I went back, I got accepted into college in a new program that they had, general maintenance.
Mhm.
And so I went up in GBSS, and I was speaking to him and his wife, and they was like, Juice, Prophet, why we not seeing you in school? I said, well, I got expelled. They say you got expelled? Why you get expelled? At that time I was like real deep in Rastafarianism and thing,
Mhm.
and I really was practicing that.
Mm.
So like I went through the whole school year with my hair, and then last day we already done exam. For me to pay my school fees, to get my report, the teacher decided that she's not going to give me my report until I cut my hair. I said, well, miss, this is my religious beliefs, and this is why, this is how I intend to live my life. Mr. Ashby said, there's no Rasta in his school. You know what I mean? They had me coming to school in July in my school uniform and then expel me. You know what I mean? So all that really still plays on my mind. One part with regret, and one part with, the pressures of society to conform to something that you are not. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And Mr. Philip and them was like, why they, we didn't even know that. And I always say, school plays a big part in your psyche as an adult. Things that the teacher tells students. Some teachers don't really understand the impact that they leave on students. And to me, leaving primary school and then going into secondary school. So when I was in primary school, there were people who I saw as my mom. Big woman. When I reached in secondary school, I look at some of the teachers who were teaching me like maybe my sister, or a potential girlfriend. You know what I mean? And some of the things that they will tell you, the way that they will embarrass you and break it down. When that environment is supposed to be an environment that actually builds you up, boosts your confidence, But to me, it's like I was being broken down to the lowest. You know what I mean? And
You have a lot on your plate.
yeah.
Brenda says it's not failure, Juice. Part of the success process. Your time is coming. Keep the faith and keep working on yourself. I'm sure you're discovering that working on finding yourself is more important than intimate partner relationships at the moment.
Yeah. To be honest, I haven't really bothered about being in relationships for a very long time. Working on myself. In the past couple of years, I've found out so many things that I am capable of. You know what I mean? And ways that I will be actually useful in a relationship. You know what I mean? So, like me right now, I always tell people, I say my vulnerability is my superpower. You know what I mean? It made me so strong, and it's making me so strong right now. Sometimes I feel like I'm a public speaker. You know what I mean? Because so many people, I help so many people through my vulnerability. I was walking to the nursery on Saturday to get some plants, and a guy stopped me in the road. He was driving and he stopped his car in the middle of the road. He said, Juice. He said, let me tell you something. He said, you're a real positive fella. He said, you know that I say give people their flowers while they're alive? He said, this is your flowers. He said, I've given you your flowers. He said, continue doing what you're doing because it does inspire me. I stand up.
Sometimes you think nobody's paying attention. What people are, there are people who pay attention. So
Yeah.
you just have to keep on doing what you're doing and staying positive. You feel like there's nobody paying attention because you're not hearing the noise or you're not seeing the likes or the love buttons. But there are people who pay attention because there are so many people I meet daily who could tell me certain things I wrote. And when I go and I scroll back to my comments, I don't see nothing from them. I don't see no likes, no love, but they can tell me about the impact a certain post or something had on them.
Yeah.
So, you don't look too much for, the likes and the love, but
Yeah.
just do what you're doing. At the end of the day, it makes you feel good. Someone says, I'm listening, and I can definitely relate to what Juice is saying. I think many people in Grenada suffer from depression and other issues, but we're so good at hiding, it just becomes who we are. And that to me is one of the problems that we have here, is that we don't take mental health seriously. We don't take, depression and those things seriously. Because, I could never forget when I told someone, I think what I'm going through is depression. And the person response was, what you have to be depressed about? What are you depressed about? You have this, you have that. I'm like, but depression has nothing to do with what you have, material or otherwise. It's a state of being. It's how you feel inside.
Yeah.
Mentally is how you feeling and your ability to cope with whatever life throws at you.
Yeah.
There's no smooth sailing for anybody. Even if you're born with gold spoon, you still have to find a way to keep that gold spoon in your mouth. So it's never easy for anybody to deal with. Life is difficult.
Yep.
You just have to find ways that cope and things that, like I told you when you're talking, what I've had to do, I had to do the therapy. I had to go through somebody because I'm like, this is bigger than me, as much as I think I have it under control. And there are many things I learned doing therapy, through therapy that I never thought about. And I'm like, wow, I never saw it that way. And it's something that we aren't big on as a society, getting counseling and therapy, because we automatically think, oh, that's for crazy people or that's
Yeah.
for mentally ill
Yeah.
people. But therapy and counseling really works because it enables you to see things from a different perspective. And I always say to people, when you're looking for therapy, go to somebody that you never know. They know nothing about you, can't come in with no prejudice notions. Somebody that is totally, a stranger to you, and they really make it work. Hold on, I
Listen.
think we have somebody here. Good
Okay.
morning.
Hello,
Morning, you live?
I'm live.
Uh-huh.
Oh, can I be off? I don't want to be live. if
Oh,
that's
well,
okay.
we're on the program right now, so you probably have to call back, and then somebody will get to you.
Yeah. So
Yes, someone here is saying there's another important part here. Sheena says, you know what hurts? When I might express how I'm hurt and down on the other person I decide to tell would respond, just be thankful for life. Focus on the good. Others have it worse. This is why I keep to myself and talk to the bathroom
you
walls.
see those kind of statements, right? While I do understand where this person might be coming from, that is actually a coping mechanism also. You know what I mean? Listen, everybody has it different. Some people have it worse, but not everyone has the mental fortitude
Mhm.
to handle certain situations. That's why we must not be too quick to judge. That's why we must not be too dismissive of somebody else's struggles. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I might present myself as the strongest wall when that's only a facade.
A lot of the times it is.
You know what I mean?
Depressed people know how to put on that face
You
that
ju-
you'll never believe when you tell them you're depressed.
People, and I find this from school into workplaces, into families, into normal friendships. We don't take time to understand the people that we interact with and the people that we call our friends and understand why people do the things they do. You know, that and for me being in this thinking space from a young age, I really get to realize how to choose the people that I interact with and the people who I keep in
Very
my
important.
circle.
Very, very
you know?
important.
Like right now, there are only 3 people outside of my family circle that I really interact with on a friendship level, like deep friendship level. You know what I mean? There are people who I know and we close. But at the end of the day, when they say keep your circle small,
Stick a pin on my juice
Yeah.
and see if it's here. Good morning. Hello?
Yes.
Hello? Okay, know what's going on with you. Yeah, go ahead, Juice.
Yeah, when people say keep your circle small, it's not because you're antisocial or anything. Because to me, I'm a very social person. You know, I go out all the time. You know, but the people who you will interact with must be people that reflect your values also. You know, there's less drama in your life. You know, people are able to spot when you're down faster instead of you having to always hide and trying to be something that you're not around these people. You can be comfortable. That is why,
Whether in the good moments, bad, ugly, vulnerable moments,
yeah,
just be yourself.
you know, that's why when most of us when we go home, we feel like we are alone. We feel like there's nobody. But the people I have aligned myself with are people that I could be myself around. People I could actually speak to and they will listen. One thing that we like to do is listen to judge, listen to respond. And people who go through depression, 90% of the time, all they need is for somebody to just listen.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Stop the projecting. Stop saying, well, when I and when no,
Not
that's
about
not what they
you.
need to hear.
It's not about you.
It's not about you. This person is coming to you just to vent. You know, I always say, boy, we need a vent body. That's why I get so attached to my animals. When I'm in the garden walking, I talk to my animals because they don't talk back to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I talk to them and we have this kind of relationship. And sometimes I feel like if they understand me, you know what I mean? So somebody might pass and say, boy, you're crazy. But they don't even know because if I don't release certain things, when I reach into society, I might be a menace. You know? I
Got to
remember
find an outlet. We all need outlets, trusted outlets, not just any and anybody. Because while because and well, we all the time, but
wow.
why so many people want to be like you to vent and to folks have made it so hard to open up and trust these days, and it's sad because you just want to talk. But while you're talking, is either somebody voice recording, they're screenshotting,
Yeah.
there's to tell somebody else what's
Yeah.
going on with you.
Li-
Like I guess I told you on Friday, if you wanted the world to know like you did, you would make a public post. But if
Yeah.
I'm coming to you
Yeah.
in confidence, and one thing I'm happy that lately I don't have to, if I have dealing with you and I have to say to you, listen, I'm telling you this, don't tell nobody. That is a major red
Yeah,
flag to me
that's a red
already.
flag. That's a red flag.
But I
Listen,
should be able to come to you without mentioning no fact about anything about telling other people. That should be understood from jump. So the mere fact I have to come to you and say to you, don't tell anybody, means I should not be telling you anything.
listen, Aruna. A lot of people in relationship wonder why their significant other always have somebody outside or the friends know more about the relationship than they do, or the man always talking to his mother, or the woman always talking to she father, or and they're not coming to me, is because the person feel that they just cannot talk to you. So what you find now, the man be vulnerable in front of his woman, and when they get vexed, she's throwing all his vulnerability back in his face. How is a man supposed to be comfortable in a relationship like that? You know what I mean? If I am with you and I come to you and I say, listen, Aruna, this is what I'm going through. You know what I mean? And I say, well, this has happened to me as a child and this and that. And we one day we in an argument and you say,
And tell you.
oh, because your mother used to beat you up when you was at come on.
Yes, sometimes we can be very cruel. It can be. And we were having that conversation on Friday. A lot of the
Yeah.
times it's not that men don't want to be vulnerable. It's just like you don't have the support there. And a lot of the times us women are responsible for you not being that way as well.
Yep.
because you're still part of the society which says a man isn't supposed to show emotions,
Yep.
should not be vulnerable. He's a pussy, he's a sissy, he's a this,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
all sort of words we use to
Yeah.
describe men who say, you know what, I'm really not doing good today. Today's not my day. I'm off today. And instead of listening and say, okay, babes, how can I help? What do you need? Just be there, that support to pick up,
A lot
that
of things.
friend.
A lot of things that society teaches us too is
You
that
get angry and you use it against him. So it's like, it's a
Men-
revolving door.
that like men don't have emotions, but men are very emotional beings, and men are very fragile. You don't realize that the regular man can't really take rejection,
Nope.
and that's part of men's emotion. That's part of men being emotional beings also. The ego is very fragile. Men's ego are very fragile. No matter how much men in general might try to put on this toughness and say, oh, well, if a woman take because men love attention also. When a man go behind a nice sexy woman and he get rejected, that does play on a man's mind. So don't think that men don't have emotions. Don't think that men are walls. We need to start listening to our men, and we need to start listening to our men from a younger age. Stop killing the creativity,
Emotions.
and the
Beating
emotions.
your men and telling them not to cry, beating your sons and telling them not to cry.
And I am
Hold it
guilty of
in.
that, and I am working. I mean, I have done a lot of damage on my son, emotionally. And right now, because I am finding out these things about myself, I'm realizing what I did to my son emotionally, and I'm trying to fix that. But still, there is that part of me.
So the thing is, you have to work on you first.
Yeah.
The important part is fixing you first, and recognizing that you are flawed, recognizing that you have issues that you need to deal with. Because if you're trying to fix it with him, if you're not fixing it with yourself, it's going to be a never-ending cycle.
Yep.
So the first step is working on you. And I'm glad that you realize, hey, I have a problem. The first step, they say, is always recognizing that you have a problem. And what do you do from there?
You have
A
to.
lot of folks reach out to you, as you said, Mr. Philip. Is Mr. Philip? Is it Mr. Philip? What's his name?
Yeah,
Yes.
Robert
He's
Phillip,
Philip. Yes, says you can reach out to him as well. He's also qualified to speak with you. So I hope you reach out to him and,
Yeah.
get the help. Don't see therapy and counseling as something that, are for crazy people or mentally ill people. If you're feeling that way, have somebody you can reach out to. Whenever the feelings come on, there must be somebody you can go on, hey, this is how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
You must have that. And I really, really want to applaud you again, for putting that out there. It takes a man to do that. Don't be fooled by saying, oh, you're a man because you're hiding stuff. No, the fact that you can be vulnerable and share your vulnerability with others really says a lot about who you are. So I hope that you take it further and get the professional counseling and therapy, because we want to see the best of you. You're somebody, I mean, you're so versatile. You sing, you mix, you this, you cook, you try everything, like you said. But
Yeah.
you got to keep on trying. Something must pay off. Something must take off for you. But you just got to keep on trying and get yourself the help that you need. So Juice, thanks so much. I mean, the comments, I can't even read half of them, but there's so much in favor of you and what you
Yeah.
did, and complimenting
I'm
you.
reading it.
Yeah, I really appreciate you. And like I said, there are people reaching out. Take the help. Sometimes you think you got it. There are days when you feel like, I'm in control. I got it
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
But tomorrow comes. And
Yeah.
you're back at square one.
Back at
it. So when you get the help, take the help.
And-
Never keep on working.
And I just
Stop
want
working.
to say this last thing before we go. You know what I mean? Men, don't be afraid to be vulnerable. This is something that we spoke about on another forum. Men need to start letting their vulnerability show. You know what I mean? And especially in front of the kids, to let the kids know it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be not sure of what you're doing. It's okay to be scared. You know what I mean? And ladies, listen to your man. Listen when he's sad. Listen to him. You know what I
Support
mean?
him.
Give him that support that he needs. You know what I mean? Don't always bring him down because you believe that he's being weak. No. We have to be weak to be strong. You know what I mean? So Yeah, man.
Wish you all the best. And thank you so much to everyone who've been with us for the past couple minutes. Appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow with another program, another ladies' room, all compliments of friends at Beacon Insurance and Western Union. Thanks, Juice, for keeping it together, holding it together, man.
Yeah,
Really
man.
appreciate you.
Thank you for
And
having me.
thanks to everyone who made their contribution. So when it's through, I'm gonna go back and read some of the comments. But Juice, don't forget to reach out. There are people reaching out to you. Take the help you need. All right.
All right.
All right. Bless.